Hello everyone and welcome to another episode of Through Africa. I am your host, Mercy Bamgola. Today we'll bring you the most important stories from around the continent. Uganda has enacted a new and controversial law aimed at protecting what the government describes as the country's sovereignty despite strong opposition from critics. President Yoweri Museveni has signed the Protection of Sovereignty Act into law after it was passed by Uganda's parliament earlier in May. The law is designed to limit what the government calls foreign interference in Uganda's internal affairs. Officials say the measure is meant to safeguard national independence and prevent external influence in political and policy decisions. At the heart of the new law is a provision that criminalizes promoting or advancing the interest of a foreign entity over those of Uganda. It also restricts individuals or organizations from working on or implementing policies linked to foreign interests without approval from the government. Under the law, those found guilty of violating its provisions could face penalties, including fines and prison sentences of up to 10 years. The legislation also introduces requirements for individuals or groups working with foreign funding, particularly in political activities, to register and disclose their funding sources. Supporters of the law argue that it is necessary to protect Uganda's sovereignty and ensure that national decisions are not shaped by external factors. The law is facing criticism from human rights organizations, civil society groups, and opposition voices because it is too broadly worded and could be used to restrict freedom of expression and weaken civil society organizations. Some also warn that it could affect organizations that rely on foreign funding, including development partners. Earlier revisions of the bill raised even stronger concerns from financial institutions and international partners. Some of these provisions were later revised before the final law was passed. President Museveni has long argued that foreign influence poses a threat to Uganda's independence, and this law is a part of the government's effort to tighten control over foreign involvement in domestic affairs. And at least 131 people have died in a new Ebola outbreak in the Democratic Republic of Congo, according to health officials. The outbreak is affecting the eastern part of the country, where reports say cases and deaths have been rising as they continue investigation and response efforts. Health officials report that the outbreak is linked to the Bundibugyo strain of the Ebola virus, a rare form of the disease. This strain has limited treatment options and no widely available vaccines specifically targeting it, making containment efforts more challenging. According to the latest figures from health authorities and international agencies, hundreds of suspected cases have been recorded in the affected region, with the majority reported in the Ituri province. The outbreak was first identified after unexplained illnesses and diseases were reported in several health zones. Investigations later confirmed the presence of Ebola virus disease, triggering emergency response measures by national and international health agencies. The World Health Organization says the outbreak has spread across multiple health zones. In response, health authorities in the Democratic Republic of Congo, supported by international partners, have begun deploying emergency measures. This includes surveillance, case detection, patient isolation, and community awareness campaigns aimed at slowing the spread of the virus. The Africa Centers for Disease Control and Prevention has also been involved in coordinating regional response efforts, working with neighboring countries to strengthen preparedness and prevent cross-border transmission. Uganda has also reported imported cases linked to the outbreak, including the risk of the virus spreading beyond the Democratic Republic of Congo. The WHO has declared the situation as a public health emergency of international concern, stressing the need for coordinated global action to contain the outbreak and support affected communities. Now, Cameroon has uncovered more than 200 illegal artisanal gold mining companies operating across the country, most of them reportedly foreign-owned. According to the Ministry of Mines, the discovery followed an official investigation into irregularities in the country's gold sector. The probe was launched after authorities noticed the major differences between Cameroon's recorded gold exports and much higher import figures reported by other countries, especially the United Arab Emirates. The 200 illegal mining companies were identified in the eastern and Adamawa regions of the country. The ministry also stated that more than 95% of the companies involved are foreign-owned. A published list from the authorities indicates that many of the operators are linked to Chinese nationals. However, the government did not provide further details on the ownership structure of all the companies identified. Following the findings, the Ministry of Mines ordered the companies to immediately stop all mining activities. However, authorities did not announce specific penalties, arrests, or legal actions at the time of the statement. Data from the 2023 Transparency Report showed that Cameroon officially reported producing 953 kilograms of gold that year, but only 22.3 kilograms were officially exported. In contrast, importing countries reported receiving about 15.2 tons of gold from Cameroon during the same period. This large gap suggested that a significant portion of gold production, especially from artisanal mining, may be bypassing official systems and entering unregulated trade networks, despite Cameroon introducing a new mining code in 2023 aimed at improving oversight. Enforcement remains a challenge in parts of the sector. Authorities have indicated that efforts to strengthen regulation and control illegal mining will continue as the government seeks to address revenue losses and improve transparency in the gold industry. Togo has announced a major change to its travel policy, opening its borders to African travelers by granting visa-free entry to citizens of all African countries. The new policy took effect on May 18 and allows African nationals traveling with a valid national passport to enter Togo without a visa and stay for up to 30 days. The decision is aimed at making travel across Africa easier and strengthening ties between African countries. According to the government, the move was made in line with Togo's commitment to stronger African integration and cooperation across the continent. In a statement, Security Minister Caliste Botosie Majoba said the policy is meant to support closer people-to-people connections, economic openness, and regional opportunities. Officials say they want Togo to become a more connected hub for trade, business, culture, and services in West Africa and beyond. For travelers, the change means that citizens from across Africa will no longer need to go through visa application processes before visiting Togo for short stays. Instead, African passport holders will be able to travel more freely into the country for tourism, business, family visits, and other short-term purposes, provided they meet existing travel requirements and carry valid documents. The decision also places Togo among a growing number of African countries easing travel restrictions in support of regional integration. Governments across the continent have argued that easier movement between African states could help strengthen economic ties between neighboring countries. Advocates of visa-free travel say easier mobility will make it simpler for Africans to work, study, and connect across borders. And with that, we have come to the end of today's episode of Through Africa. I am your host, Mercy Bamgola, and if you would like to send us questions or suggestions on the show as you have watched today, kindly do so on all our social media handles as AFROTURK TV. I'll see you in the next one, and until then, stay safe and goodbye.